Hey, we're back. We're going to be looking at TSM. So this is another semiconductor industry type of stock. Uh, it looks like the last time we looked at them was about a month ago. They were at about $87 last time we looked at them, and I was thinking of buying them around 73 with a sell point of about 104. And so we'll just zero that one out right now and update the date, see how this one plays out as we update our chart here. So we do have the weekly chart here on the screen, and so currently they're at about 89, so not much movement in that past month. We can definitely see that. When did I look at them? I must have looked at them right around the bottom of that week. So surprisingly, this one didn't move that much with all the news about the semiconductors, which I'm a little surprised. I mean, it definitely did tick up, but not as wildly as the individual chip companies like AMD and Nvidia. So we're going to keep that in mind, of course. Um, so we did update the current price. The buy point we still have at 73, and we'll play it like that. I will add in some trend lines because clearly this one is in an uptrend and it's fairly consistent. So we can draw that in. And again, if you're kind of, whoop, let me, I can just drag this. So if we just kind of play it like that, try to catch most of the uptrend. Okay, so that kind of seems like it's the uptrend. So keeping that in mind, we're kind of in the middle of the uptrend. We're right at what I would call the fair value point that we drew in a couple weeks back. So no shame in adding it now. I think we can catch it at a little bit better of a price, but keeping the uptrend uh, signals in mind, it looks like the ideal price next week, if possible, is if this one can pull back to about $87. I think that's a decent time to buy because that would be at the low point of the uptrend and slightly less than the fair value mark, which we have at 89. So I'm going to say the first buy point would be 87, and so it's rated at 89. So I'll just make this one um, orange to kind of signal, hey, we're interested in buying this one. And again, uh, I am a little skittish on the selling slash shorting any stocks right now based on kind of like the Nvidia disaster I had. So me personally, I'm just in the accumulation mode right now. Of course, bearing with whatever kind of finance, uh, the money that I have available to kind of make purchases. So that'll of course be a factor, but um, yeah, I probably, if this one continues to grow, I like TSM. I think the big worry about them, of course, is the fact that they're in Taiwan and there's the China debate on what's going to kind of happen with them. So that's kind of a political risk that we need to keep in mind with this stock. But right now, this does seem to be locked in an uptrend, which is a positive thing. So keeping that in mind, I'm not sure where I kind of bought this one. I know similar to AMD, this one hung out at that $100 range. So I know at one point I was like very happy about getting this one close to 100, and then when it broke, it went way down to 58, and that was just crazy to me. Um, and I don't think I really bought it at these lows. I probably bought some, probably like in the 70s, somewhere like that. But yeah, just due to like where I needed money in my life at that point, I wasn't really interested in buying. And again, I think that just had to do with the fact that everything was in such low and no one wanted to buy anything, myself included. I just was waiting for this one to turn around. Now it's clearly turned around, so I feel like it's safe to kind of buy the dips now because yeah, I just ran out of money. I think that's really kind of what my situation was. I was buying it at what I thought were good price points, like at 90 and possibly at 80, somewhere in the 80s, but then it just kept falling and falling. So I was like, okay, well, I just can't. I don't have any more money to be doing that. But let's just pull up TSM real quick. I just want to see their PE ratio. So this one's manageable. 13 PE ratio. I feel like that's pretty low for this company. I not off the top of my head do I remember what their PE ratio was back like here in when I thought $100 was a good price point. I could throw out a number, but I don't think that would be right to do because I would just be making it up. But I feel like a company like this should trade with kind of the market in general, which I believe the average for the market is like 20, a P ratio of 20. And I think we can check that real quick if we just look up like VU, which is like the Fortune 500. Yeah, so like an average company is about 20. And so for TSM to be trading that low, I think this would be a great time to buy, even if it is not at like a pure buy point as we're describing in our technical chart. But yeah, so I think this one's a solid buy. It seems to be trading very low, and maybe that has to do with like the political concerns with China. But uh, keeping that off the table and just looking at it as a company, um, I guess some other news that I've heard about them are they're going to cut their uh, expansion expenditures. I think they were scheduled to spend something crazy like either like 60 or 80 billion dollars in uh, buying new plants and expanding their operations, but I think they cut that back to like 40. So that's good, for a company that continues to want to grow and innovate. The fact that they wanted to cut back on that, they didn't think they needed to spend that much money. I think that's good for investor because that means they're still growing, putting $40 billion out there to expand, but also they're they're not going to overspend. So that's going to save us money as investors in this company down the road. So I think this one's a fair one to buy. Again, considering the uptrend and that's that that's impact on this stock. So if we just kind of look at the recap as I'm seeing it, we have TSM here. I would say 87, so it's right there. I probably will add some to this, especially after seeing that PE ratio. I'll probably add this one a little bit, probably first thing next week. But let me know your thoughts, and yeah, please like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.